The Galactic Empire's penal system was a manifestation of nightmares, its prisons scattered across the darkest reaches of the galaxy. Each facility was designed to house beings more dangerous than any known force in existence. Among these prisons, the one located on the desolate moon of Tuvok 3 stood out. Encased in an energy field so powerful that even light struggled to pass through it, this prison housed the galaxy's worst offenders, criminals of unimaginable power. Some had conquered entire worlds, while others had desecrated galaxies with their unending war machines. However, none of the prisoners inside Tuvok 3 were as feared as the creature they had recently captured, a werewolf. Rumors of the creature's existence had long been dismissed as myth by most of the Empire's officers until they captured it on the distant, ruined planet of Ibis 9. The werewolf's arrival on Tuvok 3 was marked by a singular act of savagery. It tore through an entire squadron of the Empire's finest soldiers, ripping their battle armor apart as though it were paper and slaughtering them mercilessly. Only a few survived to recount the horrors they had witnessed, their minds forever scarred. It was said that the werewolf transformed under the blood-red moons of Ibis 9, growing to over 10 feet tall, with fur as thick as iron and claws that could slice through steel as easily as butter. The captain in charge of Tuvok 3's operations, Commander Volan, had ordered the creature be contained at any cost. Volan was not a man who tolerated failure. His reputation among the Empire's elite had been built on his efficiency and ruthlessness. He had no patience for anything that threatened his standing. However, as he observed the werewolf being transported into its deepest, most secure cell, even his hardened resolve wavered for a brief moment. Volan stood at the observation window, watching as the creature was locked in place. The werewolf had been shackled, its hands bound by energy cuffs that nullified its supernatural strength. The cell itself was made from a material so dense that even the mightiest of beings would struggle to break through it. Yet, even under these conditions, the werewolf's eyes burned with an unyielding hatred that could almost be felt through the thick glass. "Is it secure?" Volan asked the lead technician, a man named Kor, who stood beside him. "We've analyzed every inch of its physiology, Captain," Kor replied, his voice a mixture of awe and fear. "We've nullified its ability to change forms and suppressed its regenerative abilities. If it tries anything, the suppression field will activate." Volan's gaze lingered on the creature. "Are you sure it won't break free?" Kor swallowed nervously. "The creature is unlike anything we've encountered. Its regenerative abilities are almost limitless. But yes, Captain, I'm confident we've taken every precaution." The werewolf's ears twitched, its eyes narrowing as it sensed their presence. It growled, a deep, rumbling sound that seemed to reverberate through the very walls of the prison. Volan turned away, his mind already moving on to the next task. The Empire wasn't just curious about the werewolf's abilities, they wanted to study it. They believed the werewolf could be an asset, a weapon in the ongoing war against their enemies. As Volan left the observation room, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The werewolf had been captured, yes, but he sensed that it was only a matter of time before it found a way to escape. It wasn't arrogance that troubled him, it was the undeniable certainty that a creature like the werewolf could never be fully contained in the deepest recesses of Tuvok 3's prison. Far from the observation window, the werewolf lay in its cell, staring at the cold metal walls. The chains that bound it were uncomfortable, but they were not the true source of its pain. The suppression field buzzed in the air around it, suppressing its transformation, holding it in a fragile human form, a mere shadow of what it truly was. The beast inside clawed at its mind, demanding freedom, longing to rip apart everything in sight. But the werewolf resisted, knowing there was a plan, there always was. It remembered the destruction it had caused on Ibis 9, the soldiers, the civilians, none had stood a chance. The werewolf had grown tired of being a mere legend. It wanted to show the galaxy what true power looked like. It wanted to remind them that no cage, no chains, no walls, no field could hold it forever. For now, it waited. Meanwhile, Volan moved through the corridors, his mind racing. The werewolf's capture had been a significant victory for the Empire, but Volan knew it would bring even greater challenges. What if the creature was just the beginning? What if there were others like it, hidden in the far reaches of the galaxy, waiting for their turn to be captured or destroyed? His thoughts were interrupted when his communication device buzzed. He glanced at the screen. A message from one of the prison guards, an urgent report about the werewolf. Volan read it quickly, his expression hardening as he did. "There's been a malfunction," Volan muttered under his breath. "The suppression field, it's flickering." He stormed down the hallway, his boots echoing in the silent prison. His mind raced as he imagined what was happening. A malfunction could mean the werewolf was escaping. A containment breach could be catastrophic, not just for Tuvok 3, but for the Empire itself. By the time Volan reached the werewolf's cell, the atmosphere had shifted. Something was different. The guard posted outside the cell lay on the ground, his helmet cracked, unconscious, or worse. Volan pushed through the heavy door, rushing inside to find the werewolf standing in the center of the room. Its chains were shattered. Volan's heart skipped a beat. The creature was already changing. The moonlight through the prison's small viewport cast long shadows over its monstrous form. The werewolf's fur rippled as its muscles swelled, its claws elongating to their full, deadly length. It was free. "Sound the alarms." Volan shouted to the few remaining guards who had rushed to the scene, but his voice was drowned out by the growl that reverberated through the prison. The sound of the beast finally unleashed. Volan's pulse raced. This was no longer about containing the creature. It was a race against time, a race he was losing.